I want to start this video off with a little congratulations. I just want to congratulate, and I mean this with all sincerity, I just want to congratulate James Rolfe for getting this film made. I doubted it may get made. In fact, I even said there was a chance that it wouldn't get made, even though people are telling me that I flat out said it wouldn't get made and that fuck you, it got made, haha. No, I said there was a chance it wouldn't get made, which always stood true for any number of reasons. But James lived his dream. He wanted to get this done. He wanted to make this movie. He got it shown in theaters, and you know what? It's a dream come true for him. So I'm not going to knock a guy for fulfilling a life's dream. So good on James for that, and I'm humble enough to at least congratulate him for that. Now, I told you guys I would never review the AVGN movie for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is if I honestly watch the film and I don't like it, people are going to say, well, of course you don't like it. You hate James, you know. You wish he would die in a ditch or whatever, and, you know, just make up shit that I didn't even say about him, even though his fans are the ones that come to me with death threats on a daily basis, but we'll forget about that. Anyway, I wouldn't make the review of that because I feel that people would just automatically assume a bias, that I would just give a completely just biased review of the film, and if I didn't like it, it's because I didn't like James. So it's a no-win situation for me there if I don't like the film. Now, I haven't seen the film. I have no real yearning to see the film, just frankly because my interest in James Rolfe and AVGN has dwindled in the past few years, more so from the tactics he took to fund this film and the criticism I gave him for that, just a general loss in interest of the product in general. But there's someone who did review this film, and it's funny because when you look at reviews of this film on a neutral ground, you see it get summarily panned as a terrible film. And we'll get to reviews on that neutral ground in a second here, because there's someone who reviewed this film that was the catalyst for me making this video today, and that was someone on Twitter sent me a message, or no, someone on YouTube sent me a message talking about Doug Walker reviewing the AVGN movie. And right off the bat, I said to myself, I was like, I didn't hear about this yet, and then I went ahead and I watched his review, and it was everything I expected. Now, why I think this is, I don't know whether to use the word odd, peculiar, or whatever. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what Doug should do. Doug's a free-thinking man. He can do whatever the fuck he wants, review whatever he wants. But I myself, if I wanted to be a respectable critic, I just wouldn't go there. I just wouldn't go there as far as reviewing this movie. Now, to be fair, he did not review this movie as his nostalgia critic character. He reviewed it in a vlog series as Doug Walker, the human being person with no loopity-loop character, yelling and screeching and shooting guns and cartoon ghosts in the background and shit like that. He did it just as an just as basically a sincere vlog type video. Kind of like me talking in a sincere vlog type fashion here to you guys today. And sure enough, he didn't criticize it in any negative light. Now, was I expecting him to? Obviously not. He's personal friends with the Angry Video Game Nerd, with James Rolfe. And you wouldn't expect someone who's a personal friend to attack another personal friend's work, and I understand that, on top of which he was an actual physical actor in the film. It's like saying, hey, there's that guy that was in that film, let's ask him to review the movie that he was in. Like, are they going to say, ah, man, it turned out like complete shit, it was fucking awful, the jokes weren't funny, this scene here was fucking stupid, and I wish I had nothing to do with the film. Like, was I or anyone else honestly expecting something like that from Doug Walker? Obviously not. But it's the fact that this guy, you know, makes his living off of being a critic. Because as much of a goofy character as that nostalgia critic is, he does pick apart specific, precise, absolute, should be picked on flaws of a film. And he makes his living off of that. For him to make something that is just so completely biased now, though he's not doing it as the nostalgia critic character, he's doing it as Doug Walker. Doug Walker, whether it's the nostalgia critic or Doug Walker himself, it's a relatable character in both situations because it is him giving his honest opinion, because his nostalgia critics reviews are him giving his honest opinion in a joking fashion many instances of a film. And just to see him do something this biased and just to go there and just to, even in the first minute of the film, say, hey, you know, I wouldn't be making a vlog series about this if I was going to rip the movie apart. I would just lie and just make up things that were good about the film, is basically Doug's way of saying that he's going to find a way to make this a positive review no matter what, even if he has to lie about it. So at least he's honest. Anyway, when you look at this movie on a neutral territory, where it is getting a number upon number of reviews, more than just the comments section of a nostalgia critic video, more than just the comments section of a James Rolfe video, and more than just the comments section of one of my videos, because frankly, the people that are going to leave comments on a video like this or any video on my channel about AVGN are going to be swayed by my opinion. So we have to examine this from a neutral territory stance. And I took the example of IMDb. As of making this video, there are 78 reviews that people took the time out of their day, many of which are multiple paragraphs, well thought out, well detailed reviews of the film. I did something on Twitter this morning where I posted a link to the review section of the AVGN movie on IMDb. And I said, let's play a game. It's called Find the Good Review. And it took people going through page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5, page 6, page 7, till you got to like the 60s and 70s numbers of review, till you found someone that said the movie was even decent. Now, I don't want to be accused of, like, you know, stuff in the ballot box here. I didn't command anyone to make reviews, make shitty reviews, make negative reviews of the AVGN film. But if Doug Walker is going to go out there and propel the fanboyism, propel the notion that this movie is good, and frankly, Doug Walker could have genuinely thought the movie is good. But again, you have to ask yourself, would he be looking at it with a biased eye? Obviously, I wouldn't be looking at it with a biased eye. No matter how many times I tell you if I saw the movie, I'd give you my honest review of it. I wouldn't even waste your guys' time and try and convince you that, oh yeah, I would look at it with a biased eye, blah, blah, blah. So, if Doug Walker wants to go out there and promote the positivity, if you will, and you know, it's not there's anything wrong with promoting positivity, but if he's going to go there and review something like this in a completely biased Doug Walker light that is going to look at this positively no matter what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you some reviews on IMDb. Just read through a few excerpts of them. Now, for those of you, if you think I'm just picking out the most negative of the negative, I'll leave a link in the video description. Because frankly, I'm not even going to read some of the most negative reviews. I'll let you read them for yourself if you want to click that link below. Anyway, let's see what some of the people said on a neutral ground territory. Let's begin. It sucked. The only thing worse than the actual movie itself is the fans praising it. Having been a fan of AVGN and James Rolfe's films/reviews since 2006, I've pretty much grown up with the nerd. I started watching when I was around 13, and now I am 22. That being said, the movie was simply a letdown. For all the build-up, all the hype, and the anticipation of the nerd reviewing what could be debated the worst game ever created in E.T., it simply was not a good film. There were some enjoyable moments, like Nathan Barnett's cameo or Doug Walker's cameo, but aside from that, there really isn't much to talk about. The jokes were the same thing you'd see in your average episode of the web series, the script was decent, but in the end juggled too many ideas and ended up being very convoluted. Boring, pointless, and not very humorous. I almost gave up completely halfway through it. I hate how people make the excuse that this isn't too good because it has a low budget. Like that's the best excuse they could come up with. I'm pretty sure you don't need a big budget to write a better script, and that's the main problem with this movie. The plot is fine, even if it's dumb. It's practically a gold mine for many good jokes. But the jokes fall flat. Really flat. It's not too much of a shock, seeing how I've really grown out of the AVGN in the past couple of years, but man, these jokes are really bad for his standards. The characters are so forced, trying to be witty, dialogue is so forced. I would have preferred different actors or at least better delivery from some of the lines, because they're so bad that cringing isn't worth the effect. Needlessly long, convoluted, self-indulgent, and only sporadically funny. I have seen his new film and I have to say I wasn't very impressed. In retrospect, I wasn't expecting James to create an award-worthy contender, but a fun and intriguing premise centered around the long-delayed review of E.T. on Atari 2600. The thought of the nerd character going on a cross-country trip to New Mexico, fighting evil and exposing the biggest secrets of Area 51 would, at the very least, be an escapist entertainment. The nerd's flashback to getting E.T. the video game as a Christmas gift and realizing how uninspired it was pretty much sums up my level of disappointment of this film. The biggest pitfall, no pun intended, is taking a 10 to 20 minute internet video and expanding it to a 1 hour 54-minute movie. If you don't have a great story with a strong hook or not enough laughs to cover the film's runtime, you won't keep your audience entertained for very long. I sure as hell wanted this to be over by the 55-minute mark. If James scaled this movie back to 70 minutes, I might have been more forgiving. Really, really bad in a bad way. I like the Angry Video Game Nerd a lot. His reviews are very funny, so it pains me to say this. This is one of the worst movies I ever saw in my life, and certainly one of the worst comedies. It is almost embarrassing and ridiculous. It could be so much more if it was a little less. Less effects, less over-the-top crazy action, and less cheese scenes. It could be a sincere, down-to-earth comedy about a nerdy gamer that becomes a celebrity, but instead, it is a crazy mess about aliens and some esoteric side plot about an ancient robot god or something. I really do think it is a matter of budget. The story is really, really bad and unfunny. Embarrassing, really. It could be like Clerks, with no budget whatsoever and be great. It is a really bad movie for any budget. And $350,000 is a big budget for him. It is really not a matter of money. They should have had someone honest to read the script. I guess all his friends were afraid to say anything bad about the whole thing really was. Such a shame. What a sad movie. Now I wanted to end on that review, or that specific critique, whatever you want to call it, because that guy kind of sums up what the Star Wars prequels were and what the Star Wars prequels got criticized. Because a lot of people started saying, George Lucas started having an ego and thinking his shit doesn't stink, and that all the guys that were under him doing like script approvals and idea approvals, etc., just said, "Oh yeah, George, you're the greatest! Ha! George R. Binks, that's funny. Yeah, let's put that in the movie. Ha ha ha." And that's what I think is the case. That James has gotten to the point of a level of popularity, fame, or whatever that, you know what, he knows what's best. If this script is good, no one's going to give it an honest read-through and say, this really isn't that good, James. Really isn't that good. I honestly think that's the case. Now again, maybe all these people on IMDb, and again, look on that link for yourself if you think I'm just prooting out the negative comments. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to make this video, because my feud with James is long done. Why are you making this video, Archfiend? It's obviously going to rile up the AVGN fanboys. Well, I have no love lost for his fanboys, that goes without saying. Like I said in the beginning of the video, when you get death threats on a daily basis from a fan base, you kind of have a little itch up your ass for him. But the whole reason of making this is you guys just keep coming to me about reviewing this film. You don't need me to review the film. There's enough people out there that have reviewed the film. And when you look at this film on a neutral ground territory like IMDb, that isn't the comment section of my videos or James's videos or Nostalgia Critics videos, Doug Walker's videos, what have you, you see people honestly coming out saying, I was a longtime fan, but in all honesty, this movie was a tremendous disappointment. And I'm paraphrasing what a number of people were saying there. And that's the one thing that, if you note in the specific reviews that I picked out for this video, they all had one thing in common, at least most of them. They all said, to some extent, I was a longtime fan of James, and it pains me to say this, but this movie was not good. So, there you have it. Some honest reviews of the AVGN movie that aren't mine. I'm never going to tell you what I think about the movie, whether I think it sucks or whether I think it's good. James is still living a dream by making this film, and props to him for doing that. But as far as me putting my dick in his mashed potatoes, I'm not going to be the one to do that, because there's already enough people out there that are already doing it. I'm sure a lot of his prepubescent fan base are going to eat this movie up and think it was the funniest thing ever made. That goes without saying. But anytime you want to see some honest opinions of people and a comment section that isn't filled with people that are just trolling or mindless fanboys, check out that IMDb review section sometime and keep checking back on it. Keep seeing how lower and lower his score keeps getting for the movie, which, by the way, started out at 8.5. It's now down to a 6.4. And again, you might all see this as piling on, and if you do, that's fine. If you think it's hypocritical that I'm addressing James again, well, that's fine as well. It's just something that, frankly, I just wanted to address, and I know I've said, I'm never going to cover this subject before, I'm never even going to say this before, but you know what? If Doug Walker's going to come out there and give a completely biased review of the film, then I'm going to sit here as one of the honest, down-to-earth people that I feel I am here on YouTube and give you what an honest representation of this film is, just to give you the other side that some people, frankly, might be afraid to tell you because they're so fearful of that AVGN fanboy fan base. Here comes more death threats. Have a good day, everyone.